Aviation, for all its marvels, is a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of progress. Every day, millions of people take to the skies, trusting in the science and systems that keep air travel remarkably safe. Yet, as secure as flying has become, history reminds us that when things go wrong, the consequences can be utterly devastating. Throughout the decades, certain aviation disasters have shaken the world, not just for the immense loss of life, but for the profound changes they forced upon an industry that never stops striving to improve. Each tragedy is a scar, but also a lesson, one that has ultimately made flying safer for everyone. Let's journey through some of the most catastrophic plane crashes in history, the causes behind them, and the powerful reforms that emerged from their ashes. Perhaps the most infamous tragedy of all unfolded on March 27, 1977, on the runway of Tenerife's Los Rodeos Airport. The air was thick with fog, visibility was almost non-existent, and the airport was bustling after a nearby terrorist incident had forced many flights to divert there. In this confusion, two giants of the sky, both Boeing 747s, one operated by KLM, the other by Pan Am, found themselves on a collision course. Miscommunication between air traffic control and the flight crews, compounded by language barriers and the relentless pressure of schedules, set the stage for disaster. The KLM plane, believing it had been cleared for takeoff, accelerated down the runway, just as the Pan Am jet was taxiing in the opposite direction. The resulting collision claimed 583 lives, the deadliest accident in aviation history. The aftermath brought about a revolution in cockpit culture. Crew resource management. Pilots and crew were now trained to communicate with absolute clarity, to challenge one another when in doubt, and to break down traditional hierarchies that could stifle critical thinking. The legacy of Tenerife is not only in the lives lost, but in the countless lives saved by the new protocols it inspired. Fast forward to August 12, 1985, where Japan Airlines Flight 123 took off from Tokyo, embarking on what should have been a routine domestic flight. The plane, a Boeing 747, suffered a catastrophic failure just minutes after takeoff. The rear bulkhead, weakened by improper repairs years earlier, gave way. The loss of pressurization and control sent the jumbo jet careening into the mountains of Gunma Prefecture. Of the 524 people aboard, only 4 survived. The horrifying scale of the tragedy spotlighted a different, but equally critical issue: the importance of rigorous aircraft maintenance and inspection. The investigation revealed that a flawed repair, made years prior, had fatally compromised the aircraft structure. In response, airlines and regulators worldwide tightened maintenance procedures, emphasizing the need for long-term vigilance and thorough checks. The lesson was clear: safety is not just about the moment of flight, but the unseen work that happens long before a plane leaves the ground. A decade later, the world was stunned by another kind of disaster: a mid-air collision over the village of Charki Dadri, India. On November 12, 1996, a Saudi Arabian Airlines Boeing 747 and a Kazakhstan Airlines Ilyushin Il-76 crashed into each other at 14,000 feet, killing all 349 people aboard both planes. The root cause: language barriers and miscommunication between pilots and air traffic controllers. This tragedy spurred the mandatory global implementation of traffic collision avoidance systems, or TCAS. These onboard computers monitor the skies and warn pilots of potential mid-air collisions, providing automated instructions to avoid disaster. It was a technological leap forward, sparked by the real-world consequences of misunderstanding at 30,000 feet. In 2009, Air France Flight 447 vanished en route from Rio de Janeiro to Paris, plunging into the Atlantic Ocean. All 228 on board perished. It took years to recover the aircraft's black boxes, and the findings were sobering. A combination of frozen pitot tubes, which fed erroneous speed data to the autopilot, and pilot confusion led to a loss of control. The incident underscored the necessity for pilots to retain manual flying skills, even in an age dominated by automation. Training programs worldwide were updated to prepare crews for high-altitude emergencies and to ensure that human expertise would never be overshadowed by technology. Some tragedies, however, remain shrouded in mystery. In 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 disappeared over the Indian Ocean with 239 souls aboard. Despite the most extensive search in aviation history, only scattered debris was ever found. The cause remains unknown, fueling endless theories and speculation. The disappearance highlighted the need for real-time flight tracking and more robust satellite communication, prompting the aviation industry to seek solutions that would ensure such a vanishing act could never happen again. Only months after MH370, another Malaysian jet, Flight MH17, was shot down over eastern Ukraine, a victim of geopolitics and conflict. All 298 on board died when a surface-to-air missile struck the plane. The tragedy forced the industry to reconsider flight paths over conflict zones, leading to real-time assessments of airspace safety and rerouted flights to avoid areas of risk. Some disasters are the result of mechanical failures overlooked until it is too late. In 1974, Turkish Airlines Flight 981 crashed after its cargo door blew off mid-flight, causing decompression and a total loss of control. The crash killed 346 people and revealed a critical flaw in the cargo door's design. The solution was swift. Airlines worldwide retrofitted their fleets, ensuring such a failure could not recur. More recently, on June 12, 2025, tragedy struck in Ahmedabad, India, when Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, crashed seconds after takeoff, colliding with a college building. Of the 242 people on board, 241 were killed, along with 19 individuals on the ground. Investigations continue, focusing on potential technical or procedural issues. As with every disaster, the hope is that answers will lead to improvements and prevent future loss. These are only a few of the darkest days in aviation history. The Lockerbie bombing of Pan Am 103 in 1988, the Swissair Flight 111 crash off Nova Scotia in 1998, and the Colgan Air Flight 3407 disaster in 2009 due to pilot fatigue. Each brought new awareness and new rules. The crashes of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610, both involving the Boeing 737 MAX, led to the grounding of an entire aircraft model and an overhaul of certification processes. Each of these tragedies is marked by the lives lost, but also by the lessons learned. They have driven changes in training, technology, aircraft design, and international cooperation. Today, every flight benefits from these hard-won reforms. Flying may never be entirely without risk, but it is now safer than ever before, a testament to humanity's ability to learn from the past, to honor those who have perished by making the skies safer for generations to come. As we continue to fly, may we stay informed, vigilant, and always willing to ask the tough questions. In doing so, we ensure that the lessons of the past are never forgotten, and the promise of safer skies remains within our grasp.